Back again, breaking down the AFC South. We got a special guest that's going to come on today, super fan, as we like to call, Trevor Lawrence Simmons. He's going to come on, break down, and give us a little preview of what's going on in Jaguar land. And then we're going to run through the rest of the teams, kind of break down, what happened in the offseason, additions, drafts, losses, like we've been doing, the notes. And for your guys' entertainment, I pulled out a couple questions for the end.
Yes, I love it.
Because that was pretty fun last time. So
that was a good time.
A couple of brain teasers, so definitely make sure that you guys stick around to the end, see if you get them right, because there's some pretty good ones, I think. So with that, let's get rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the Bean Apple Podcast.
Belichick. I mean, I text him all the time. He just doesn't answer.
Somehow got mono. God knows who he was making out with.
Somebody had given me 2 tickets to a Jet game, and I had to run into a store. Came out, they broke my window, and they left 4 more tickets.
Oh. All right. So here we go. So we'll start with Jacksonville, and we'll get right to it. Bring it in.
Wow, right out of the blocks, Jacksonville.
The legend. Who would have thought we'd be excited to talk about Jacksonville? But here we are. What is up, Travis? What's up, buddy? How you doing? How you been?
Doing pretty well. How are y'all?
Good.
Good, brother. Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Awesome. Had to rock the shirt for Olivia. See, she's
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You already know.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Yes. Awesome.
You guys go ahead and do your thing, and what we going to do first?
I'll run through the notes, the things that people should be paying attention to, and then we'll go to you for the exclusive on what's going on down there in Jacksonville.
Roger.
All right, so big additions for them. Obviously, a 1-15 team last year, so rough season. Obviously, just almost as bad as the Jets, but a little just a little more painful. So the reward was a little greater. But Marvin Jones, big additions coming down there. Roy Robertson Harris and Shaquille Griffin, big signings that they brought down on the defensive side. Obviously drafted some Trevor Lawrence kid, Travis Etienne, Tyson Campbell in the beginning of the second round, nice cornerback. They lost Joe Sherbert, who they just traded 2 weeks ago. So they lost Keenan Cole up to my Jets, who's looking pretty good, and D.D. Westbrook, 2 nice receivers, but not great receivers, nice pieces that they lost. So for notes, things that are kind of going on that I could find. So things that stood out. The last couple drafts, and Travis, you could check me if I'm wrong here, but Josh Allen, nice rookie season, but last year just kind of faded. And Kayvon Chason was kind of just a non-factor last year from what I can gather. Didn't have too much of an impact. So back-to-back first-round picks that look like they might be misses. It's early still. There's opportunity for them to turn that around, but not what you want to see from back-to-back high-end first-round picks. And that gave them the 28th ranked defense going into 2021. So not what you're hoping for with what the offense could be producing. So the thing with the offense is that could be what actually carries this team. I mean, once Trevor Lawrence gets comfortable, gets that game speed down, which is going to take a little bit. You can't expect him to come in and just crush it right out the gate. It might happen, but expectations have to be tempered a little bit. But once he gets comfortable, he could carry that team. He could offset what that defense is. So, but a lot of that to me depends on what that O-line can do, which I think they should have strengthened going through it instead of drafting Travis Etienne, which I know it's an awesome piece, but you've got James Robinson there. You could have grabbed Darrisaw or another offensive lineman at that point and really given him some protection, which would have been really nice. And right now, Travis Etienne's showing as the 3rd running back on the depth chart. So I'm interested to see, Travis, what you have to say about that, because I don't see him being able to stay as the 3rd running back behind Carlos Hyde, but I don't know what Urban Meyer's doing down there. So he's a great player, but they had other needs that could have been filled. And James Robinson last year, 1,070 rushing yards on a team that was losing every game except for one, and they still had 1,000-yard rushing running back, which is unheard of on a team that loses that much. You're throwing all the time when you're losing, but he still put up 1,000 yards. So to me, that was a questionable draft pick at that point when there were so many other needs. But I do think My prediction for this is DJ Chark and Laviska Shenault are both going to be 1,000-yard receivers this year. So I'll see. Travis.
No Marvin Jones. No Marvin Jones.
No,
in
I
there?
think
Okay.
the youngins. I
Okay.
think the youngins are going to explode. Marvin Jones
Okay.
is going to be a nice player, but I think Laviska's going to explode there. And DJ Chark, he's a weapon in the waiting. So I'll see, and I'll give my predictions when we come around. But that's what I got. That stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually surprised when they did sign Marvin Jones, to be quite honest with you. They got 3 really good receivers, I think, with a young quarterback, and they're very young as well. Like you said, Joe, I think the offense will be okay. The running game looks good. I mean, they got Carlos Hyde back there. They got a little bit of depth there. O-line, we'll see. But, I mean, if they can improve from last year, I mean, like you said, Robinson, over 1,000 yards, and he was a rookie. You know what I mean? So he's only going to get better.
Yep.
My question is for my friend down there, the biggest Jags fan I know. So we got Miles Jack kind of leading the middle. We got Griffin Reed leading the backfield. Where's the pass rush coming from? So, looking at this team, Malcolm Brown is a beast. I mean, the guy is a monster. He almost reminds me of Vince Wilfork a little bit, but he's just never put the numbers up. He didn't put them up in New England either. He played with New England, and then where did he go after that? It wasn't straight to Jacksonville, was it? It was New Orleans. New Orleans, that's right. He went from New England to New Orleans, and now you guys just never put the pass rush in. So I don't know. I mean, the guy's a tank. What's he, like 6'1", something like 320, 340, whatever he is. The guy's a monster. I think they're going to have their growing pains. You got kind of like I was texting Joe earlier about the Jets. How will that move be for Urban Meyer? He's a smart guy. He's always been a head coach, a little bit different from the Jets, where you got a defensive coordinator taking over. You got a rookie quarterback. In this situation, you got the rookie quarterback who's really never lost. And you got Urban Meyer, who's basically won everywhere he's gone. So, how are they going to handle defeat? Who knows? Maybe there won't be. Maybe you'll be smiling all year, bro. And I'll tell you what, I still haven't got my Jacksonville shirt yet. I'm pissed off, man. Still, since April.
Wow.
They keep telling me it's on its way. I'm calling BS. But, no, I think one of the biggest question marks is their pass rush. They got a couple veterans leading that D. Of course, they're going to get better. They're going to get stronger. I think the offense, wide receivers, the strongest point. And I'm looking forward to see Trevor Lawrence in the NFL. I truly am. But I do think there will be some growing pains.
Mm-hmm. So, I was looking at that too. You were talking about James Robinson, right? He averaged 4.5 yards a carry. I would have never, if you were going to bet me on that, I would have definitely lost. Because how do you average 4.5 and you win one game for the whole year? That to me was a huge standout. And they have him again. And I did see Etienne is third on the list there behind Hyde. But, one issue I got with Jacksonville is, what the hell are they doing in this division? I mean, how AFC South? How are they in AFC South? How does this even make sense to anybody that knows geography? If you look at the map, Miami is south of Jacksonville.
They're actually
Miami,
more south than Jacksonville.
Miami's in the east.
Yeah.
Yet somehow Jacksonville's in the south. I think it's time for a realignment of the divisions because I just don't get it. There's a couple other ones that are really that bother me, but Jacksonville's one that I get it. In 1995, when them and the Panthers came in, they had to plug them in somewhere, and they said, "No, we'll throw them in the South because Florida's South." But Tampa's okay. Anyway, I think this team definitely makes improvements over last year, and I know Travis, you're really high on them, and I'm curious to hear what you're going to say because you obviously know a lot more about this team than we do. But no, I see them. I don't want to say too much here until I give my numbers here, but I definitely see them improving. But to me, there's still question marks for this team, and luckily they're in this division because to me, by far, this is the worst division in the league by far in my eyes.
I would say weakest.
I would
Worst?
say weakest,
Oh,
worst
boy.
division.
Oh,
When you
boy.
hear my grades for these
Oh, boy.
teams, it's not good.
I can just see it in his face right now. He wants to say something so bad. I can just
Go
see
ahead.
it.
Take it away. Take it away there.
All right, I'm going to start off by saying, first off, glad that Tim Tebow's gone. I'm sorry about
Was
that.
it? That's all good. No,
That timing was perfect.
Exactly.
Yes, it was.
But
Now, was he cut because of those great blocks that he had? Is that why?
No, I don't believe so. As somebody stated before, he didn't get any snaps in most practices or in the game on special teams. That alone is a fourth string tight end. That's a telltale right there. He wasn't going to be around long. But the proof was in the pudding with those weak block attempts, which I have been saying all along was going to be his downfall. And he's not as athletic as it really makes him out to be. But he's a Jacksonville product. I'm happy that, so everybody made it sound like it's all about hate. It's not hate. I just knew he's a 37-year-old guy trying to go play tight end that a position he's never played in pros. So I want to start off with that. I'm going to answer your question, John. First off, pass rush. John Allen. I'm going to go to Joe first. Josh Allen had 8 sacks his rookie year.
Yep.
Last year he was hurt. He came in the season hurt, nagging injuries, and they just put him on IR. Caleb Von Chasen, I was down on as far as what he's done, but he came one later in the season. That's a position change for him. It was just pure when he was at LSU. It was put him out on the outside, go get the the quarterback. Excuse me. That's all he did. He didn't have any technique. He progressed great amount during that end of the last season. So we'll see. I think those two will step up though, John, to be the pass rushers. And they have those young boys coming in. Got a few undrafted free agents they had from last year on the practice squad. Pass rush is going to be there. Then you throw in Smoot, who was good at DN. Just slow. I don't see him as a dominant pass rusher on the outside because of the lack of speed. But he's going to be setting the edge. That D line is going to be nasty. 28.
Well, they're big. They're big guys, man.
Yes.
I mean, that's a big D line right there.
Huge. And they would the draft pick J2 Pele from USC. They just are huge up front. Then you got Doug Costin. And don't forget about what's his name? Number 52. We're from Ohio State. Wow, can't even think of the name right now. But at nose guard, he's they say he's closer to 360 now than but they said he's still fast. So lean.
Hamilton.
Yes, thank you, Hamilton. Wow, Devon Hamilton. So he played great the other day. He's just gonna. I don't see them running, and that's going to help the pass game automatically.
Sure.
So I think it'll be interesting to see. But anyway, I'm going to go off like you said. You nailed the signings. Marvin Jones was brought in for one. He was played the last 2 years in Bevel's offense in Detroit, who was the OC. So that was a perfect signing. When you have a rookie quarterback and then you got guys that never been in the system, you got to bring along a vet. That's just that's coaching 101. Bring in a vet that knows the offense, help them out, and he's productive. 9 touchdowns the last 2 years, just short of 1,000 yards the last 2 years. And as you saw in the preseason game on that 35-yard, when he had all that time, he's going to be Trevor's security blanket. So he's going to have a huge year. If Chark can stay healthy, he already broke his finger. I think he'll have a good year, but I think also Chenault, they scheme to get him the ball. So between that and ATN taking away, I don't see Chark having a huge year. He's going to be a reception guy, meaning high yardage per reception. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him getting. I see him getting maybe 65 catches, but he's probably going to be like around 800 yards, 900 yards, just from 20, 25 yards a catch. He's going to be the D-ball guy. I'm with you. I was with you on the draft when I said I was against him. Mm-hmm. And if you need to tell me to wrap it up, tell me shut up. I could talk all day about these guys, but
oh man, keep going.
But as far remember in the draft when I was saying I told you we were gonna get Etienne after Kadarius Toney was gone.
Yes,
and that's who he wanted, and they wanted another guy to do what he did. The problem with that is I wanted the safety or alignment.
Right.
So
The
look
kid from TCU, right?
Yep, Maury.
Maury, yep. I remember that.
And I was high on him. But look, that's why they're the pros. He had a back injury, and they have a lot more knowledge than us casual fans do.
Right.
We think we're GMs, but I was upset. But when you think about it, and then look at Tevin Austin is the other guy I wanted out of Oklahoma State. He's hurt. And then had injury concerns. So I think they did great with their draft, the way they did it, in the order they did it. They were smart. They filled every hole because they got Walker Little. And he would have been a first-round pick had he not opted out from COVID from playing last year. Well, he wanted to play. Then they said the Pac-12 said they weren't going to play. So he started training for the draft. And then they decided to play. And he was like, nah, I'm cool. Like, I'm going to just keep training and recover from my ACL fully. And look how great he's looked. I think he'll be a starter by week 3.
Okay.
So,
all right. So, well, let's run through our predictions and kind of see where that's what I really want to see is what you think this team is going to do this year. This is going to be.
Let's have him go last, though. Let's have him go last.
Obviously,
we have to have him go last.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I want to see the reactions as everyone picks. Because he's going to be like, "You're out of your damn mind."
No, I'm ready.
All right. So for me, I've got this team going from 1-15 to 5-12.
So I also have them going 5-12. I'm sorry. I hate to agree with them.
Are you kidding?
I didn't want to.
Great minds think alike.
I hate agreeing with him. You know that.
But you're going to hate this even more.
You're going 5-12 too.
So I have Jacksonville starting out 2-0.
So do I.
So they go 2-0, and then it goes downhill. So I have them 5-12. I can't believe it. I mean, I have them 2-0. I got them, sweeping the Texans.
Yep.
Me too.
I have them splitting with Indy. I got them, and I don't have the 5th win, but I think there's another game in the middle there that they're going to win, and I got them 5-12. Wow, that's unbelievable.
I
also have them starting 2-0.
Me too.
Wow.
I did too. I looked at the first 2 games, Texas and Denver. I mean, unless Teddy Bridgewater is one of those quarterbacks step up, they're not doing shit either,
Yeah.
So now
So,
the moment of truth right here.
Travis just sitting there with that little smirk. Like,
Travis, this has never happened. This has never happened where we all pick the same score. That's crazy.
Yeah, I see that, but that's fine. Good to prove you guys all wrong. So
okay, so it's not a 4-way tie.
It's definitely not.
I don't
it's
think
close, though. I mean, I got 8-9 or 7-10. I too have us going 2-0. I have us losing to Arizona.
Okay.
And then, like you said, you nailed it on the division. We're going to get swept by Tennessee.
Yep.
We'll split with Indy, and we're going to beat the Texans 2 times.
Yep.
I have some sleeper games in there that I think will be surprising.
Is it against those 2 guys at the top? New England and Jets?
You already know the Jets are going down. That's automatic. I'm all about that.
I love it.
I do have those losing to the Patriots.
I would have felt a lot more confident before that Carl Lawson injury today.
That's tough.
But we'll see. We'll see if I change my tune.
We'll see. Definitely see. But surprised before I left off the last part real quick, Laquan Treadwell. Don't be surprised. Well, I'm sure he won't even be surprised it makes the 53 now the way he's balled out. But that's just a great signing. Great receiver room. We got to cut some receivers. But I think our defense is going to be a lot stronger. If you watch the preseason game, how we control the line of scrimmage, that's going to open up everything. So I guarantee we won't be in the bottom half of defense. We'll be 16 or higher in defense.
I like it. I like the prediction.
I guarantee that.
Okay.
They're
not. It's not the craziest thing. It's not the craziest thing I've heard. I mean, pretty reasonable. I mean, it's high end expectations, but I think between 5 and 7 is pretty realistic. I mean, that could definitely happen. And if Trevor Lawrence is the generational quarterback that they said with the running game that they have and the wide receivers that they have, it's not out of the question to pull a couple games that you're like,
No.
how did that happen? You know, that's
And also think about it. So you get Tennessee that stands out, of course. They're going to stand out. Indy. So they're talking Wentz potentially back by week 1. Boy, you're going to rush that. And what if he gets hurt again that quick? So he hasn't played any football right now.
no
And he's going to come back a few days before week 1
right.
and start playing. So there's a lot of potential that Indy, as good as they are, I mean, let's face it. You take a quarterback away from any good team, and what happens? They fall apart. They're instantly going to fall apart.
Yeah.
And I had this conversation work today because
Well,
somebody's telling me how
don't,
great Kansas City is.
Don't go
without
too
Mahomes.
far.
Don't ruin your Colts prediction yet. You're going,
I'm not at all. I'm gonna.
Okay.
I'm picking the Colts with Wentz in. I'm assuming he's playing, and with Houston, I'm assuming Watson isn't playing by how camp is going.
Yeah.
But like I had to talk with Kansas City, not to get off on a tangent, but somebody goes, even without Mahomes, they're a 12-win team. I said, if Mahomes, God forbid, I don't want to jinx him, if he ever got hurt, they're going to be lucky to win 5 games because that whole offense is around Mahomes moving.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a backup quarterback. Look what happened against Cleveland last year in the playoffs. If Cleveland didn't rely on Baker Mayfield to try and win, Cleveland beats Kansas City in that playoff game when Mahomes was out the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, but they still couldn't. But that quarterback did nothing for Kansas City. So I'm telling you, teams are a quarterback away. And
Yeah.
I mean, this division is minus, except for Tennessee. They're solid as hell. They are. You can't take that away. But you know what? The rest of it's a toss-up, I think. I mean, you probably won't hear it with my records because, again, I'm assuming certain players are going to be there. But it's definitely not. It wouldn't be out of the question, like you guys said. They win 7, 8, 9 games, and I hope for you, Travis, they do. Because man, you're a fan that deserves it. Man, you're a fan that deserves it. Prove us wrong.
Yeah.
Prove us wrong.
All right, cool.
I'll tell you
Travis-
this. I'll tell you this, Travis. Jacksonville won't be in last in the division this year.
No.
Well, come on,
Absolutely
that's not
not.
fair. The Texans are in the division.
Well, I mean, hey, they were in
Agreed.
last. and
Let's
this
see
year
if
they're not
everybody.
gonna
Let's
be.
see if anybody has them in second. That's what I'm gonna be curious about, but we'll see. All right, so let's roll. So,
Stay tuned. Stay tuned,
Stay
folks.
tuned, Travis. So
Definitely.
thank you for coming
Thanks
on.
for having me, fellas. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Well, I'll be
See you
on.
later, bud.
You too.
Later, brother.
Later, my friend.
All right, so we'll definitely see how that one plays out, but we'll let's roll to the Texans. Let's just get that out of the way because this is a Band-Aid that I just want to rip off and
Just
get
do it.
rid of. So, all right, so quickly the Texans 4-12 last year. They added Shaq Lawson, they added Christian Kirksey, they added Tyrod Taylor, probably their starting quarterback, and Mark Ingram. So they got a couple names in there that are decent. They drafted Davis Mills. Terrible pick right there. Nico Collins, which is a nice pick, and Brevin Jordan. I didn't understand that pick either. So you reach for Davis Miles, which I don't understand why they would do that. Or Davis Mills, excuse me.
Davis Mills, yeah.
I don't know why they would do that because you have to know that if you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to win. Like if you don't have Deshaun Watson going into this year, you're probably got the first pick in the draft. That team is bad. So why even bother wasting a 3rd round pick on Davis Mills when you're probably picking at the top of the draft next year? So grab another player at that point. Nico Collins is nice. And then Brevin Jordan, they didn't have a lot of draft picks to begin with, and they're grabbing another tight end, which doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. They lost J.J. Watt. They lost Will Fuller. And they're going to lose Deshaun Watson to either the Law or another team. Doesn't really matter, but he's not going to be in Texas for much longer. So, but there's not a lot of notable moves. Couple little players here and there, but overall they lost a lot more than they gained, especially with Deshaun Watson. Tyrod Taylor, again, like I said, that I don't know why they, you grab Taylor, just roll with that this year and then address the quarterback in the draft next year. It doesn't make sense to waste picks on it. So this team, terrible roster, terrible team. There's nothing to look forward to as a Texans fan. This is going to be a bad year.
Ugly.
And I got to say, I mean, and I think probably 99% of every NFL fan agrees, odds-on favorite for the first pick in the draft next year. So
Absolutely.
somehow they did beat New England last year. So, and two of their 4 wins came against Jacksonville and one against Detroit. So 3 of their 4 wins were against bad teams.
Yeah. Strong.
And then they beat New England. So I had to get that in there. That they beat the Patriots. I don't know
That's
if this
cold,
thing's on.
man. That's
beat
cold.
the Patriots, beat Jacksonville, beat Detroit.
Look, out of defense for New England, Deshaun Jackson. So, actually, I'll wait till you're done.
He's
I am
done.
done.
He's
You're
done.
done? Okay.
What the hell are we
Sir,
talking about?
the floor is yours.
Thank you. So here's what's crazy, man, right? So they were that terrible, and Deshaun Watson almost threw for 5,000 yards, had 30-plus touchdowns and only 7 interceptions. That's insane. That is just insane. That tells you how good he really is. I mean, it's just amazing that he did that. How? I don't know. I mean, yeah, they beat New England, blah, blah, blah. Of course, you had to talk about that, and whatever. But so, yes, they did beat New England 27-20. He had a great game, and we'll move on. So what are the positive takeaways? So this is what I foresee happening this year. So they need to trade Laramie Tunsil. They're overpaying. They're not overpaying. They're paying an offensive lineman big money for what? I would get rid of him, get what you can. I mean, but his contract's huge. Their running game, I mean, Phillip Lindsay's a 1,000-yard rusher. I think he's pretty damn good. How can you run out on this line? I don't know. You get some depth with Ingram Johnson and Rex Burkhead, former New England Patriot. Tyrod Taylor, who got kind of a bum deal last year with the injection into the lung. He's going to step in and be the starter. I mean, he's not a bad quarterback at all, but he's not your future number one. So he's the placeholder for whoever they draft next year. Joe, I agree. Why take a quarterback in the 3rd round? Didn't get it. They got a nice little group of receivers with Cooks and how do you say it? Kuti.
Cutie.
Kiki Kuti. Thank you, Kiki Kuti. Defense, I don't know. I don't get it. Boy, they're in a lot of trouble there. They are younger, but I mean, it's just probably Zach Cunningham is probably one that sticks out at linebacker. But I don't know, Terrence Mitchell on the left end, I think, or cornerback. So they're in some trouble. I agree. Yeah. They will be drafting number 1 next year. Besides maybe Detroit. I don't even think Detroit is this bad. But yeah, they're going to be Texan games are going to be terrible.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
And they do have a 1st-round pick for the first time next year.
Right. So I mean, they're going to start getting help
to answer Carlos's question.
Yeah, good for them. They're going to have the 1st pick, yes. I mean, there's nothing to say here. This is the worst team in the league. There's no way they are improving from 4-12 with the key losses they have. They're going backwards, and number 1 pick next year. I could just give you my number here because there's nothing to talk about with this team. But go ahead, you go and give your numbers, and I'll tell you what I think. But this is by far the other teams are lucky. This team is in the division.
I mean, it's free wins.
Oh, it's free money. Free money. Yeah.
Might as well. Better off forfeiting. But I went up and down that schedule like 3 or 4 times. There's nothing there. I'm gonna give them 1-16 because something weird's gonna happen. It's hard to go winless. It's really hard to go winless. I want to say they can do it because the schedule isn't easy. I mean, just on top of
it's
not an easy schedule. So everything in me wants to say 0-16, but 0-17, but something's going to happen to let them go 1-16.
Okay, this has to stop happening. So I'm saying.
Wait a minute. If you're agreeing with him, I'm going to tell you I have 1-16 too. And just
Come
move on.
Okay,
I swear to you want to see my paper? Can you read that one? And I don't want to show you the other one.
So
1-16.
Here's where I see them getting their win. Okay, it's a cold fall day, right? It's a cold fall day in Houston right after Thanksgiving. You know, the other team's going to be full of turkey. It's going to be like November 28th. The Jets are going to fly down.
Oh, come on.
No, but the Jets are going to fly down, and they're going to have turkey poisoning or something, and somehow they're going to pull it out. The Jets are going to have what's that? Tryptophan. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
tryptophan poisoning. And no, I don't know if they're going to beat the Jets. They're going to beat somebody. I mean, like Joe said, it's hard to go winless. But I think if any, I almost went with none, but he likes it.
Even Adam Gase couldn't go winless.
Right.
So, that's what I mean. It's going to be, but I'll tell you
the
what.
Worst coach of all time.
What team is it going to be, though? Is it going to be somebody coming off? Like, I'm going to look at their schedule and kind of look at the other team's schedule to see when they're playing like a big game the next week, like Tampa or something. But
right. It's
I don't know.
Trap game or something.
Yeah, trap game. But I'm still calling it November 28th. They're going to get their first win, and Joe is going to be furious.
Oh, my God. That's furious.
You know you're jinxing it. It's going to be the Patriots.
I mean, it could be. I don't know. But, I mean,
still, let's not waste
then you can laugh at me.
Right. So it's a three-way tie. First two teams were all tied. It's
going to change next.
There's no way.
Change next.
Well,
there's no way.
I think it's going to change, and it's scary that you think it is too, because I hope we don't have the same thing for the. Are we going Indy next?
Let's talk Colts next.
We got to go Indy.
Yes.
Holy cow! This is scary.
So this was the 11-5 Colts team led by newly retired Phillip Rivers. So they added Glass Wentz and Eric Fisher. Both of them. Fisher coming off a big injury. Wentz currently on an injury, coming off an injury. Whichever way you want to say it, there's an injury designation attached to him. They drafted our boy Kwity Paye, who we all loved. Thought was going to be a giant. Turns out not so much. And losses, like I said, Rivers and Jacoby Brissett. Both backup, two good quarterbacks. They don't have on that team anymore. They lost Justin Houston and Danico Autry. They lost to the Titans over there, switching in the division. So, so my notes here for Wentz. If it's not Wentz in there, it's last year's pick Jacob Eason, or it's this year's pick Sam Ehlinger. So, with him out, you're going with rookies,
and nobody has any stats.
Right? Yeah.
Nobody's played. Nobody's done anything.
Not a snap yet to be taken. So, Jonathan Taylor, man, he's the shining light on this team.
Love that guy. Love him.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas is legit.
The badges.
He's going to carry a lot. So, I'm curious to see him explode this year. I think that is in the books to happen. He's going to have an awesome year because they're going to have to with Wentz. If Wentz is hurt and they want to protect him, they've got to run the ball. They just have to. So he's going to have a huge year. And I want to see if Michael Pittman can actually take a big step. He was a big name, kind of tossed around a lot last year. He only had like 580 yards receiving, which is disappointing. The receiving core, not very good all around. I mean, you think with T.Y. Hilton and Pittman that they would have something decent. Your boy, Zach Pasquale there. But nobody had big yards. T.Y. Hilton had like 800 and something yards, I think it was, maybe high sevens. And he was the leading receiver. So not the Colts that we're used to. And one of the things that I found very, very interesting here is the Colts defense, which we liked, which I thought was actually one of their stronger suits, right? Like they should be pretty decent. They were not actually very good. So they started off the year nice, but from after week 5, their defense had a 19-5 touchdown to interception ratio, which is not good. 7.6 yards per attempt and 4.4 yards per carry, which goes right in line, Jim, with your stat for James Robinson there, 4.4 yards. So giving up a lot of yards on the ground, giving up a lot of yards in the air, and a 19-5 touchdown to interception ratio is not good for your cornerback. So, so what I have on here is equals, i.e., not good. Very, very insightful breakdown there for you guys. But, I don't think I'm going to have – I don't know if you guys have as low of expectations of this team as I do, but that's why I think it's going to change. Don't be surprised. Because I think it's going to be low. All right, let's see what you guys got.
Don't be surprised.
So like you were talking, there was going to be 2 receivers for Jacksonville with 1,000 yards. I think this is going to be the Colts year for 2 running backs with 1,000 yards. So Mack had 1,000 the year before. Taylor is just, he crushed it last year. You know what I mean?
And they didn't even use him a lot.
That's what I mean. They did not even use it. Johnny Muck, what's up, brother? How you doing?
It's been weeks.
Johnny Muck from Lim, Mass. Welcome back, buddy.
Nice.
Welcome back. So I honestly think the Colts are going to have 2,000-yard rushes. Joe, like you said, wide receivers, but here's what helps. T.Y. Hilton's been in the same system for a while. Pittman, let's see if he takes that next step. Zach Pascal, a number 3 with almost 700 yards. I'll take that. Our number one didn't have that last year for New England, so I'll gladly take that. Their D, probably a little overrated, but I think in this division, I think they're going to do okay. They got minus Tennessee. Again, I think there's not a whole lot of separation. Well, there is between Jacksonville and Houston. Again, Jacksonville's still very young. Colts have a lot of experience. So, I'm gonna base it off Wentz as the starter for the whole season because that's what they're talking.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my win prediction. He's in a friendly system. He's back with his guy, and he's not going to have the pressure of Philly. That's why I think this was a good move for him. I truly do.
Okay. Right. So Jim is
No,
I'm going to say no
Not
to
on
everything
board.
you just said.
okay.
No, I think I
go.
think
Let
they're
'em
going to
have
go after. I think they're going to go after Wentz, right? They're going to put pressure on Wentz. I think it was your brother one show that I was blasting Wentz, saying he's always hurt, and I think Shaney was telling me how that's not true, and he's durable. Maybe I'm for some reason I'm remembering this.
It sounds familiar.
And he was saying, no, he plays every game. I used to watch him with the Eagles. They put pressure on him. He's not durable in my eyes. He does get hurt. He already has a foot injury he's dealing with. And week 1, no, I don't think so. And like I said, there's nobody behind him. So I think the defenses are going to bring everything at him and block up the box, and they're going to shut down the run and try and make him beat them with his arm. And it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So, yeah, I see them. Rivers isn't there anymore. Rivers carried this team on his back last year, right? Like you said, the defense wasn't there, but Rivers was. And Rivers, with that awkward release that he had, somehow kept them in games and got them 11 wins. Mm-hmm. But to me, a huge step backwards this year. I don't want to give it away because I'm afraid of what you're going to say, Joe.
Huge
I really am.
Step backwards. Oh,
I'm
man.
really afraid of what
Now
you're
I'm
going to
nervous.
say.
Now I'm nervous.
If I'm going to hold this paper up, my hands are here. I'm not changing anything, and I want to see what you say here. But
Okay.
I see them. I went up and down the schedule 3 or 4 times, and
All right.
I thought to myself, you guys are going to say I'm crazy, but now I'm getting nervous.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. So, all
Come
right.
on. There's no way we could tie. Go ahead.
And so a lot of this for me, John, exactly like what you said, a lot of this for me is going off of this news of Wentz coming back earlier than we thought.
Yes.
And a guy that he's on a brand new team. He has no chemistry developed with the wide receivers, and he's got to get thrust right into games. Like that's going to be troublesome right out the gate. He's got to get back into game speed in sync with his wide receivers, and he's going to be getting bull rushed is what I agree with Jim exactly. Like challenge him, make him beat you, and they're going to bring the heat, and this dude's going to get hurt. Like I said, it's glass wins. So for me, I've got this team at 6-11. So big step back from 11-5. So John, I don't know if that means he agrees with me and wants to jump out a window. Hopefully you're in the basement, but
oh my God, what is going on? So before I even say what my record is, I have them starting the season 1-7. I truly do. I have them starting the season.
Yeah.
So here's why. So just Joe, just
and
like
I know which one the win is.
he is coming back, and and it's Houston. It's Houston.
Of course it is. Of course.
Of course it is. So he's coming back to face Seattle, the Rams, Tennessee, Miami, and Baltimore. He's going to be lucky to be alive. You know what? This may be the game that Houston wins because Houston's going to be like, man, let's beat the shit out of these guys. And then they go to San Fran and Tennessee. You know what I mean? So it doesn't get any easier. I just don't see it. You know, they may surprise me. Joe, I'm identical to you again. Identical to you again. That's why I put my head down. I just see him going 1-7. You know what I mean? And then I get him beating Vegas. You know, probably splitting with Jacksonville. You know, like we were talking, probably sweeping Houston. I don't know. Maybe pulling out a game against the Jets. That's another one, boy. That
my God.
That one I went back and forth on because that is a Thursday night game.
It is.
It's a Thursday night game. Yeah. And it's a home game for the Colts, but they play Tennessee the week before that.
That's what I mean, man. So, it's not easy. That schedule, they have a brutal schedule for the team that they have. I at best 6 wins, and I was going with 6. Mock, I teetered with 5 and 6. Yeah. I truly did.
And full disclosure here, we all got in the room about 5 minutes before the show
started.
Even. No. So we didn't even have time. We don't ever.
This has never happened. I don't think we've agreed yet.
We don't ever go over our picks or notes before the show.
Never.
We leave it. So you're finding out the same time we're finding out each other's inputs. But yeah, this is freaky. Let's see.
This is unprecedented.
Yeah. Is Jim going to ruin this one?
When you say ruin it, what do you mean?
The streak. Does the streak end?
Yes.
Finally.
It ends. And it ends because I'm taking the under from what you two are saying.
Wow. Okay.
I'm saying, I'm going to go as far as saying Jacksonville finishes second in the division. All right, Travis, did you hear that?
Oh, wow.
Someone's smiling right now.
So I looked at the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 0-5. Who's that? Who that? I said the same thing. 0-5, win at Houston, lose to San Fran, lose to Tennessee. I got them winning 3 games. I think they split with Jacksonville and they sweep Houston. And that's it. That's it. Whether Wentz is in there or not, and I don't think he'll be in it all year. You know, I think he has a setback with his foot. I think he misses time. You know, unless one of these no-name guys that never took a snap somehow go crazy, then okay, then I'm going to be way off. But I'm going 3-14. I'm saying they are in 3rd in the division.
Wow.
Jim, no way Jack's. Oh, I thought that was Travis saying that. No way they finished 2nd. I don't know. Well, hey.
No way.
John, put your 1 to 4 up there in a comment. What do you think? 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. What's your standings there? So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah,
3-14. So
yeah, and they also they have Quentin Nelson with that same injury, and then they had what's his name retire as well, Costanzo. So
huge. A foot thing is for a quarterback. No,
and an offensive lineman who's got to stop a 300-pound guy trying to bull rush him.
Yeah,
I mean you got to plant and push back, and you can't do that when you've got a foot injury. All right, so let's finish it out with the Titans. I am assuming we all have them winning the division.
I think
Let's hope so.
It's really hard unless you're the NFC East last year to win the division with less than 7 games. So, all right. So Tennessee, obviously 11-5 last year, same as the Colts. Huge additions. Julio Jones, Bud Dupree, Janoris Jenkins, your boy Jack Rabbit there, and
Rabbit.
Like I said, Danico Autry coming over from the Colts to them. So they drafted Caleb Farley, great pick that slid down the draft board. They also grabbed Dylan Radunt. I don't know how you say his last name, but I did read a lot about him coming into it. Radunts, offensive tackle from North Dakota State. Elijah Molden, cornerback from Washington, and my second favorite name outside of Loudermilk, Racey McMath, wide receiver from LSU. So we'll see what he's got, if anything, but it's still fun. Racey McMath. Losses, your new toy there in New England, Jonnu Smith. Adoree Jackson up there for you, Jim. Corey Davis for me. We're just plucking Titans. I don't know if you know this. They lost Jadeveon Clowney and Malcolm Butler, and they also lost Adam Humphries. I put that in as a side note because he was really good that year in Tampa Bay with Jameis Winston, signed that contract there and just was never utilized. So I don't know if it was a system thing or he was a one-year wonder. So more to come on if he resurfaces somewhere and explodes like he did. So notes, Derrick Henry, 2,000 yards last year, right? 16 yards short of two 1,000-yard receivers as well. 16 yards. It was all Corey Davis needed for him and A.J. Brown to both have 1,000 yards with a 2,000-yard running back. That is insane. 5-1 in division play last year. I expect the same, if not better. I think this is a good team last year that got better in the offseason. I mean, they lost some big names, but they added huge names. I think they drafted some really, really nice pieces. If Caleb Farley's healthy, he steps in as a number one cornerback right out the gate and looking really good. So the things that still keep me from going all in with the Titans is, and John, you're probably going to agree with me, I have a hard time trusting Tannehill. I don't know who Ryan Tannehill is. Like, was it Adam Gase? Is this who he is? Is this the system that's working for him? I don't know, but I just have a hard time saying Ryan Tannehill, we've got this. Like, it just doesn't feel right when you say that. So I don't know exactly what it is. And then this is going to kind of lead into some of the questions that I ask you is can Derrick Henry hold up after that year? You don't see it very often. So history says no, like 45% average decline is what you have from the last seven 2,000-yard running backs in the NFL. The next year, the average return is a 45% decline, if that makes sense. If you take out Terrell Davis, who only had 211 yards the next year after his 2,000, it's a 38% decline. So if you take that 38%, it puts him at, or the 45%, it puts him at a 1,250-yard season, which is a huge step down. But that also is why I think that Julio Jones and A.J. Brown are going to go absolutely ballistic. Because Henry, he carried the ball a lot. Historically, you do not have good numbers the year after a 2,000-yard season. It just wears on the best running backs in football. So this is going to be Tannehill's year to really take a huge step forward. And with Julio and A.J. Brown, that's where it's going to be. So here's my questions for you guys before you go through.
Hey, Judy, just saying hello to another fan up there.
Yeah, that's my mom. So
just saying hello. Hi,
That's
Mom.
mine. That's
Hi,
mine.
Mom.
That's
That's mine. Mine.
all right. So you've got O.J. Simpson, Eric Dickerson, Barry Sanders, Terrell Davis, Jamal Lewis, Chris Johnson, Adrian Peterson, and Derrick Henry as your 2,000-yard rushers in the history of the NFL. So my question is, who do you think was the closest to having back-to-back 2,000-yard seasons?
Say the names again.
O.J., Eric Dickerson, Barry Sanders, Terrell Davis, Jamal Lewis, Chris Johnson, Adrian Peterson.
I'm going to say Jamal Lewis. I don't know why I'm just going to say Jamal Lewis.
I mean,
Right.
it is a like that name jumped out of me because I thought, well, I wouldn't have thought of him,
No.
Yep.
but I won't go with him just for that reason now because you took him.
Sorry.
And then fans as well. Who do you think? O.J., Dickerson, Sanders, Terrell Davis, Jamal Lewis, Chris Johnson, Adrian Peterson.
It's
Who
weird
came
that
closest
it's
to
weird that you're
back-to-back?
including OJ in that list, but
That's
I get it. I know.
everyone.
Yeah, that's the guys that done it. So
That's the guys that have done
I feel like,
And I will say,
feel
just
like-
take Terrell Davis out.
I feel.
'cause he was hurt.
Okay, yeah. I
He
feel
was hurt
like
the next year.
AP. I feel like I want to say Sanders, but the Lions. God, he was so elusive. I loved watching that guy play. I'll say Sanders just because I loved him.
Okay, and then this is a two-part. How close?
Oh come on,
How close do you think they came to 2,000 yards? Within
So,
in
17.
hundreds?
Within
1,700?
hundreds.
Well, okay, yeah, 1,700 yards.
Yeah.
Okay,
So if and I'm trying to remember back, I thought Jamal Lewis was like a couple 100 yards away. I thought he was like 18 or high 17s. I could be wrong, but I don't know why.
You better not be Googling this while we're talking.
Swear on my mother's eyeballs. I'm not.
Oh my God.
I want to see how good
you
my
didn't have to
memory
get
is.
that specific.
So you're saying
My mother's eyeballs.
1900?
I thought 18ish 100. I thought he missed
18?
it by a couple 100 yards. Yeah.
Okay, so you ready for the answer? Hopefully the fans are. There are 2 correct answers. Barry Sanders is the winner.
Nice, good one, Jim.
1,491 yards. That's
Wow.
as close as they came to a back-to-back 2,000-yard
Okay.
season. So I wrote them all down just for fun. So OJ the next year, 1,125 yards.
Oof.
Eric Dickerson the next year, 1,234 yards. Sanders, 1,491. Terrell Davis, he had 211 yards in 4 games. He got hurt and missed the rest of the year. Jamal Lewis the next year, 1,006 yards. Chad Johnson.
I'm getting old.
Chris Johnson, 1,364 yards. And AP came in at 1,266 yards.
Okay.
So that's why I said, when you have a 2,000-yard season, the fall off from that is huge, except for Barry Sanders because he couldn't be stopped either.
couldn't
But
touch
still,
him.
he was still over 500 yards short of eclipsing that mark back-to-back years, which is insane.
That's what happens when you spray yourself down with Armorall. People just you can't.
Right.
So is Muck serious? Texans
What?
over the Jags?
He is.
Wow.
Johnny Muck doesn't lie.
So
I'm not saying that he's right. I'm just saying he doesn't lie.
Mr.
Travis is
Simmons
not gonna
ready
let
to
that
open up
go.
his wallet. He wants to open his wallet up.
Damn. Does John John, you do know that Deshaun Watson's under some kind of legal investigation, right? And probably won't play football this year. Just want to make sure you're aware of that. Okay, and while they discuss that, here's my second question for you. A.J. Brown, last year, he did have back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Okay? In the last 16 years for the Titans, how many of their wide receivers have had 1,000-yard seasons?
Now, do tight ends count?
No, just wide receivers.
Okay. Well,
So
there's
how
that
many
one.
Titan receivers in the last 16 years had 1,000-yard season?
Yeah.
Back to back, right?
Back-to-back 1,000-yard
Oh,
seasons.
back-to-back 1,000.
Alex,
This
that
is like-
sucks, man. That sucks. You might as well keep him. Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just thought this is weird because a lot of the good teams have 1,000-yard receivers every year, you know?
So 16 years.
In the last 16 years, because that's as far back as I could go.
I'm going to say
without
one.
searching
Oh,
individual.
man, Simmons. Yeah, I'm saying one. I'm
I'm going to say none.
I
feel
wanted
like
to say
this is a
zero.
trick question. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, Jim. Sorry, you went one. I'm going
All
0.
right.
Bud. Sorry,
right.
bro.
So the answer is actually 2.
Son of a bitch. I know it.
Kendall Wright and Nate Washington are the
So
only.
do I win? Do I win that?
Yeah, you were the closest. So yeah, which is crazy to think in 16 years that team, because that team's they've had pockets of success. So you would think it would have happened more. You look at like the Steelers, they put up 1,000-yard receivers every single year, and Patriots for their stretch runs, they had 1,000-yard guys, but to have
There's Steve
not
McNair
be-
there too. You know
Right.
what I mean? Air McNair. I mean,
Air
the guy
McNair.
was running
Right.
the ball, you know?
So you would have, I would have thought it would have happened more than that and it had been a while. I wish I would have wrote down the last year it happened, but it was probably like 10, 11 years ago when the last one happened.
Huh.
So
Frank Wycheck, right? He was on that, wasn't he?
He was a tight end.
whenever Kendall Wright last was good, this is the
Or,
last
what's
time
his
it
name?
happened. So
Dyson. Dyson
Andre?
was one of the receivers, right?
Andre Dyson, wasn't he for the?
Oh, Dyson.
Yeah, that was early. That was
Kevin
in the,
Dyson. It was Kevin Dyson, right?
I think that was like 99 when they just missed
That was the Super Bowl stretch.
the Super Bowl.
right?
Yeah.
The 1 yard line.
Yeah.
Oh, God. The Rams. The Rams almost lost 2 of them. 2 heartbreakers.
Yeah.
So,
All right, so what do we
that's
got? Numbers
That's
here?
my notes.
Oh.
I just completely overtook the Titans, so you guys go ahead.
That's all right. So just real quick about the Titans for me. When I got Joe, you kind of alluded to it. 678 carries for Derrick Henry the last 2 years, 33 touchdowns. So Ryan Tannehill, I hate
love.
the guy. Everybody knows how I feel about Ryan Tannehill.
Him and Baker Mayfield, you guys are a perfect.
I can't
threesome.
stand him, and I got to give credit where credit's due. The guy's thrown 50 plus touchdowns, 13 interceptions. I'm not going to go in the signings. They're a tough team, but Joe, you nailed it. So what happens when teams close the box on Tennessee? They make Ryan Tannehill try and beat you. He cannot do it. Now, he hasn't had two wide receivers like Brown and Jones before. So I don't know what that's going to do. You know what I mean? I don't know. I still don't think. Oh, God, I knew it. There we go. I love it.
I love it.
So I still don't think Tannehill can take them to the promised land. I think he's going to put up good numbers again. It's hard not to with that team, to be quite honest. And honestly, in that division. You're right, Joe. They can potentially sweep that whole division. In fact, it wouldn't shock me if it would. If they would. So I think they get into the playoffs. I think they get a pretty decent seed. There's no way, at least in my mind, Tannehill can beat Allen. Definitely not Mahomes. Who else are the strong teams in the NFC?
AFC? Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Big Ben. Baker Mayfield,
Steelers, Baltimore,
Roethlisberger. It's kind of crazy. So, they're going to be a great regular season team. Let's put it that way. In my mind, great regular season team.
100% agree. I think, like you said, there were games last year. You look at Henry's numbers, and he's a beast. But there are games where he runs for 27 or 40, and he just can't get out of the backfield, and he can't get going. And
naturally, Alex, naturally.
Yeah. So I think that I think there are games. Obviously, he won 11 games last year, right? So he has been able to beat teams with his arm. And like you said, he didn't have the receivers he does this year. So this year for them is a walk in the park. They could pull the starters at halftime. They win the division no matter what.
Yeah.
Even when I look at the beginning of the schedule, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I got them going 4-5 in the first 5. So, but yeah, I think that they run away with it. But I agree. Tannehill wins the division, but that's as far as they go because they're not good enough to beat the other elite AFC teams, and that's where it's going to end for them. So, yeah. That's it. That's all.
I didn't think about this until right now, but the last arguments that you guys made about teams losing games at the end of the season, this might be where Houston wins the game because they play Houston the last week of the year. They're not going to be in contention for a number one seed. They're going to win their division, and I don't think their seeding is going to be able to be changed the last week of the year.
That's true.
So this could be where they just sit everybody and Houston pulls that win out.
There's the one win we were talking about.
I don't think, though, if Houston is 0-16, they do that. I don't think so.
Do you think they care enough? They want to win.
I think they would care enough going into the playoffs, losing to an 0-16 team. I just do. Mentally, great. Yeah. Granted, they're going to know why, but that's just me thinking. I could be wrong.
I don't know. If you say it about that at the other teams, if they're going to rest their starters, these guys might too. And if Henry runs as much as he does, just give Henry the day off. And if you don't win that game, it doesn't matter. So I would do that, especially like Henry. Take a couple days off. Go ahead. Have a seat, have a hot dog, sit back, enjoy the game. And rest up because you're going to be carrying any playoff success this team has. It's going to come through his legs. So, all right. So for me, this is pretty simple. With one extra game added, I have one extra win added, and I have them going 12-5.
Okay, so we're not going to be the same again. So, like I said, great regular season team. Real quick, last year against Baltimore, Derrick Henry, 18 for 40, 2.2 yards a carry. Tannehill, 18 for 26, 165 yards, a touchdown and an interception. That's what happens when you load the box against Tennessee. Tennessee will not beat you. I get them winning one more game than you, Joe. I get them going 13-4. because there's a potential to win 6 games in their division. You start kind of looking at their schedule, and hold on, sorry, I just had it up. I apologize for wasting time. Come on, man. Let's go. Come on, screen. Okay, here we go. You got Arizona, not high in Arizona. They go to Seattle. I think that could be tough. But in a 3-game span, you get the Colts, Jets, Jacksonville, but then you got Buffalo, KC. You got the Rams. Maybe at New England may be tough. I don't know, but that running game, and then you got Pittsburgh and San Fran and Miami. So I think 13-4.
Okay.
And that's what I think.
Wow, I'm going to take the under again. This is not a normal night.
This
here.
goes against your betting.
I don't understand
overall.
what's happening.
Yeah.
And like I said, I have them going 4-1 in the first 5, but I think they lose to Buffalo. I think they lose to KC. I think they split with Indy. Rams lose. I gave New England a win and the 49ers. I'm going 10-7.
Come on.
10-7.
I love you, man. I love you, bro. I do.
Change it to 11-6. They're not
No.
gonna...
10-7. And really, because there's going to be no pressure on this team. The division's going to be over for them, and I get it. You want to get the highest seed you want, whatever. But to me, 10-7, because I think there are some games in here they're going to lose.
That is a good point.
So 11-5. 11-5, I think they, even though they have a better offense than they did last year,
Travis, I don't know. I've lost control of the show. I have no idea what's going on anymore.
Someone's got to be different. I'll be different. 10-7, baby. That's it.
Man, that's not sitting well with Trevor Lawrence Simmons.
Hey, I just told him his team was going to finish in second, and now I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well,
what the hell is this?
When you put it that way.
Travis, I agree. I don't think they'll split with Indy, but I think New England is definitely going to beat them. Belichick won't lose to Vrabel 2 straight years.
Sure he will.
No, he won't. It's not happening.
Didn't Vrabel sell like one of his balls or something to win? So it's got to happen.
Like footballs or
no, one of his testaballs.
Jim giving New England a win. I know Johnny Muck. That's why I just had to give him credit, man. I had to give him credit. Jim's coming around.
It's at New England. It's probably going to be freezing out.
Happening anymore?
I mean, hey,
cats and dogs living together. I don't know.
What week is that?
It's down in the. It's week 12.
That's November 28th. That's
they're gonna have. That's the same week the Jets lose.
It's gonna. So that I guess we'll both lose then.
Indy and Jax
Let's hope not.
as 8 and 9. Indy and Jax as 8 and 9. Wow. Okay.
Travis, I love you. I do.
Yep.
But I think you're a little insane.
Yep.
Oh Lord.
Just a little. Not a lot. Not a lot. I'm not saying you're a lot insane. Me and you were very close there. Very close.
Actually, Indy.
All right.
All right. Well, we'll see. This is going to be.
Well, we got him at 1.
Yeah, that could be right.
I gave him 1 just cause.
Yeah, me too.
It's too hard.
It's too hard to lose.
It really is. So, okay. So we'll wrap it with that, and then guys, we're down to our home divisions now.
Yes.
So hold on. So instead of us choosing if we're doing AFCs or NFCs first, let's what do we do? Flip a coin? Do we ask our fans? Do we get a random generator for something? What are we going to do here?
Actually, so I'm on vacation next week. I'm going to be down the shore. What? So I'm going to have to be, so I'm going to be, poolside or beach or something. I hope I have
That's
good
even
internet.
better.
Hope I have good internet.
You can do it from there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
You got like an Airbnb or something?
Yeah, we have a condo down in.
They got Wi-Fi.
I have an air card too if I need it, but yeah.
Oh, I only need you for an hour, and then the family can have you for the rest
of the time. Okay. That should work out fine. Yeah.
So Jim, I'll let you choose. When are you going to be? Are you going to be down there all week?
Saturday to Saturday, I think.
Okay, so you will. Okay, let's.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
don't
we've been
know.
doing the NFC AFC rotation. Do you want to
We
keep it
have.
that way, or?
I mean,
can.
I'm fine with doing NFC first. There's two of you. We do AFC last.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Either way, they're gonna be long and in depth. So,
Absolutely.
but that's what she said. All right. So NFC East
Oh, here we go.
to round it out.
NFC
next
East
broadcast.
is Monday.
NFC East Monday, and then we'll close it out with AFC East on Thursday. That'll take us going into week 3 of the preseason, and we'll start ramping up for that. We've got the Fantasy League and the Pick'ems. If you guys, I don't know if anybody's seen it. I think Travis is the only person who's seen it, but I did post the Pick'em League in our Yahoo page. It's on Yahoo. It's on our Facebook page. If you guys want to get into it, it's there with the password and everything. So I want to jump in. I forgot to pull it up before we got into this. I think it's like 13234 is the ID. Let me double check. And
Johnny Muck, while he's looking at that, we're doing NFC East Monday, AFC East next Thursday, bud.
I can't see it on here. Can I? Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's on our page. I want to see. All you need is you go to Yahoo Pick'ems, do a private league. It'll ask you for the ID and the password, and I believe the ID is 13234. But double check on that, and then the password is the Bean Apple, all lowercase, all one word. Very simple. Jump in there, compete against us every week. Make your picks on who you think's going to win. And like I said, last year was fun. That came down to, I think, 4 of us for the win, coming down to the very last week for somebody to pull that one out. Also, 2 spots left in our fantasy league. If you want to get in on the fantasy league, let me know. Give me an email, and I will get you an invite. We will be drafting September 6th.
It's 13-3-2-4.
3-2-4. I was so close.
Yes.
But yeah, it is. If you're not recording this, just jump onto the fan page and grab that. And again, like I said, if you want to get into the fantasy league, that's September 6th that we're drafting that right before the season starts. So get with us and we'll get you into that. So otherwise, I didn't say it before, but subscribe, tell all your friends, tell your wives, tell your girlfriends, tell your wives and your girlfriends, as John would like to say.
I love that.
But not at the same time.
Not at the
obviously.
same time.
So, all right.
Right.
Yeah. And until then, have a great weekend. If you're going on vacation, enjoy that as well. And we will see you guys on Monday for the NFC East. Giants fans, better show up. Cowboys fans, better show up.
Are there Cowboy fans?
No such thing.
Supposedly. All right. And then until then, we'll see you guys on the other side. So for
Peace.
John, for Jim, I'm Joe. Later.
Yep.